We're gonna sit with this for a minute.
With this
We're
movie?
we're just gonna ruminate. Let it soak in.
The movie? Do you need to? It seems like that that bar that Tom makes them go to in Parks and Rec. Like, I'm just like inhaling the vodka. Like it's just like a vapor.
I still want one of those. Remember those machines that you can like inhale shots, and apparently has like none of the adverse health effects.
I feel like it might still be bad for your brain.
This old thing. Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is why I'm watching this show, your twice weekly pop culture podcast. Have we been saying podcast or did I change it to talk show?
You have been saying podcast every single time.
Okay.
We have not even discussed talk show.
Well, I mean, that's what it's becoming.
It's still a podcast.
Well, we're putting the audio feed to the podcast, but this is the talk show.
All right.
Your twice weekly pop culture talk show that just flows.
It doesn't.
It's just because you're not used to it yet. We talk about movies, TV, music, and more. And as always, this is a spoiler show, so you've been warned. Spoiler alert. Not very good. So on today's episode, we watched Thunder Force.
It's go time. Oh, God. Oh, we've got to rethink this car. Yeah.
I didn't watch any of the trailers because I wanted to say, I figured the best jokes would be in the trailers. And so I wanted to save it for the viewing experience. Yeah. And after having viewed it, I would assume that the trailer is just the logo for like a minute.
Do you really hate it that much?
It was really bad.
Oh, I thought it was like mostly fine.
Oh, really? Oh, it was awful.
I didn't love it, but it was like fine.
Woof. I mean, there were no jokes, and
that's true. It wasn't like a lot of Melissa McCarthy movies where it's like joke. This was just like there were like.
Or like bad joke, medium joke, it's like this, there weren't jokes.
There were like semi-humorous moments, but it was not like a laugh. I laughed a handful of times, like a handful of things, like deliveries were funny and stuff, but mostly it was like, and I don't know, how do you want to approach this?
How do you want to approach it? I got nothing.
I was going to go straight to Jason Bateman's.
Well, that's the only good part, but okay. I was, okay, it's not very...
Because it was sort of revolting to me.
That's the full quote.
It was
Thunder Force.
Sort of revolting to me.
On at least 3 occasions. We are Melissa McCarthy fans and apologists. We paid to see, I don't even remember the college movie.
Oh, the college movie, yeah, and the puppet movie.
Well, we went and paid to see both on the opening weekend. The puppet movie is one of the better times we've ever had at the theater. That was aided by the Cajun food beforehand. And both of us, were lit up like a goddamn Christmas tree. Like,
we really were.
I had 99 bananas I had smuggled in.
You did, yeah.
And you took some.
I did.
You don't ever do that. And so I have watched Happy Time Murders 3 times.
Yeah.
It is not a good movie, but it is an enjoyable movie. It's
pretty funny.
If you like low-hanging fruit, I mean, if you like really, really dumb, like, incorrigible.
Yeah.
But
that's the problem with this, is that it was like, the fruit's already on the ground.
Nothing.
Yeah. I didn't even to me, not even really the emotional moments paid off very well.
It thinks it's so serious at the end. So in theory, again, big fan of Melissa McCarthy, big fan of Octavia Spencer. I mean, the movie is kind of littered with things that I kept feeling compelled to go, ooh.
It's the two of them, Jason Bateman, Pom Klementieff, and Bobby Cannavale, and Melissa Ponzio. We love all
Melissa Leo.
Yeah, and Melissa Leo. We love all of those people, but it's like the sum is much less than the whole is much less than the sum of its parts.
Just like weird, clunky exposition. Like it is an entire movie of that, like, come on, Emily, we're best friends and always have been since your parents died in that superhero accident 30 years ago. And it's like, they're just sort of constantly explaining the nature of things to each other.
Yeah, and also the friendship break didn't feel like, okay, the break when they were kids felt, that's fine. That's whatever. You get really mad about things when you're a kid. But like then there was like a break after Lydia threw the bus and Emily was just like, this is unacceptable. You're out of the group. And I was like, I don't.
Octavia Spencer was kind of bad in this. I don't know. So this is what I was getting
at. This is also not stretching her muscles at all. I can believe Octavia Spencer was like, I'm phoning this paycheck in.
In theory, I'm like thrilled to witness and support this like marriage of comedy that Melissa McCarthy and Ben Falcone have.
Yeah.
But it's just each one has just gotten like work. Like, I mean, I remember when I thought The Boss was rough. Yeah. It's like, that's the height of comedy compared. I don't know. I was really put off by it. And the whole, like, it wasn't even good action. The whole thing looked really cheap. And
I mean, it is a Netflix movie.
Well, it was. I thought it was acquired by Netflix.
Oh, maybe.
Thought it was another one of those that they were just gonna. I mean, maybe they're making money. I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get how so many talented people weren't like, do you want me to take that again? Like, do you want me to give anything? Like,
so my thing is, I think he directs less than he does other stuff. And so I sort of am wondering if he's in that, like, in a better way, but like in that George Lucas camp of directors where it's like, I can feel you picking all of the worst takes. You know what I mean? Like all of the actors' worst takes are the ones that wound up on the screen.
Well, but the thing is, it's like, and I mean, I this is not really our brand. I'm very aware I have the 20 minutes of time to fill, but
this is tough with the new mics because I don't know how long we've been talking yet.
I wasn't even, like, it felt like there weren't even bad takes. Like, it was just nothing but first takes. And because it wasn't even like god awful. There are a handful of things that are funny, but then it almost makes it worse because you remember what comedy is.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, because I mean, okay, let me say this right out the gate. I think the best performance in the movie was Jason Bateman, and that is, I want to say, more often than not the case when Jason Bateman's in something. And so, what?
I like Jason Bateman. I mean,
he's great. I love Jason Bateman. But the problem for me is that they also, I think, didn't pair the people together properly, because I don't know that I've said it on this podcast yet, but I watched that HBO Max movie last year called Superintelligence with Melissa McCarthy and Bobby Cannavale. They have really good chemistry, like really, really good chemistry. And it doesn't have to be romantic, but it is
Spy.
Yeah, it is romantic in that movie. And they shared like one scene in this movie. And I just feel like they split their people in such a way that nobody was interacting with the people they have the best synergy with. And that was to its detriment, for sure.
Even Palm, there was like a couple of times where she did something interesting.
She was pretty funny.
Like she was, I could tell she was trying, but I mean, again, woof. Like nothing was really landing.
It also did sort of feel like the messed up clone of Mantis, where she was very like deadpan the whole time, but it was like not.
I'm so glad I've seen
sociopathic.
So glad I've seen her in other things.
Yeah.
Because if I had only seen Mantis and this, I would be like, well, yikes. Because
just stick to modeling. I think she.
But I've seen. No, she's great. Well, to bring it up again. She plays a not a very big role, but a kind of an interesting role in Ingrid Goes West, and it's like not this. You know what I mean? No. The Jason Bateman, and you're right. He was the best part. I'm still laughing at you with the revolting because it really was. So the rest of the movie wasn't weird enough to justify that.
At first, it's just a little bizarre when they're in the like convenience store and he's got crab arms.
It's almost like he's wearing them.
Yeah. But we do find out that later that they are his real arms, and so he's just got giant crab arms, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. But then it's like
you need at least 3 other
things that are that
something
weird.
Needs an elephant trunk in order to make that work.
Because he is the only one with like anthropomorphized animal
limbs.
Everybody else just has powers, and it's
Well,
like,
and
he doesn't
also-
even have a power
And also his like origin story is not the same
as
as
the rest.
because I knew when we opened up with that lackluster
Yeah,
voiceover explaining the cosmic rays in 1983,
yeah,
but they only made psychos. I was like, what?
yeah. It was strange.
Um,
Certainly not as well thought out as Love and Monsters.
what happened to the dude? Was it maybe Colin? The knock knock, who's there?
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah, knock, knock.
Who's there?
I'm an owl. Shut up. That's it.
Oh, it wasn't Colin. It was like Greg or something, or yeah, whatever.
We established him.
Yeah, he's in.
Nothing came of it.
He's in a scene as a kid and one scene as an adult, and then no further.
And that was funny because he kept trying to make the joke work.
Yeah, he's not even like the IHOP manager in Man of Steel.
He he said knock knock, and she said who's there, and he said I'm an owl, and she said I'm an owl who, and he goes
That's
wait, that
not
doesn't
right.
work.
Yeah.
You're the one that said who. And he kept trying to reverse engineer the joke.
Yeah.
And so it was like, if we got, I don't know, that was funny to me, and they realized and they nipped it right in the bud.
Yeah, I just like so here's the thing. This was like a way to pass, an hour and 45 minutes or however.
This
long it
wasn't
was.
3 hours.
No.
It felt like 3 goddamn hours.
Which is weird too because we didn't pause it once. Like
I got up and made food. I was like
But I just like I wasn't even really, and that should have been my like warning, is I wasn't even like caring. Like I didn't even have like any feelings. I just was like, oh, it's like my eyes sort of glazed over, and I was like, I'm being entertained, and then I was just like, I didn't even.
that made one of us.
Yeah, well,
I'm giving it to you. I need something to point this anger at.
no,
No,
it's fine.
it's not anger,
But okay, we need to finish talking about Jason Bateman because he's very funny in this, and all his deliveries. That's what he's built his whole career on, is his deliveries like that.
But it's like I feel like he's the only one that knew what movie he was in. So
Yeah.
he's practically scoffing at the camera.
Yeah,
Like he's practically at the end of every take like, this is so dumb.
This is so dumb.
yeah,
Can you believe I'm doing this?
yeah.
And he's like, let's see if they'll keep this. Like
So like this whole movie feels like a basket of favor performances,
mhm,
like even from Melissa McCarthy,
mhm.
where she's like, "Sure, babe, I'll do your movie."
Well, she was asleep for half of it. I mean,
Yeah,
kicking in a dream. I was
we
like,
should go watch a better Melissa McCarthy movie when this is over.
Spy is like god tier,
Spy's
according
very
to me.
Spy's
That
very good.
and maybe it's the combination of Melissa and Bobby. Well, it's everyone in that
Yeah.
movie.
Rose Byrne.
And Phoebe. No, it's not Phoebe Bridgers. It's
I never remember her name.
the one that's not Phoebe Bridgers.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
There you go.
Yeah, not
Phoebe
her-
Bridgers
not
is
her.
a musician.
Yeah,
Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
we're all over the place.
I think it's the like threesome of Bobby and Melissa and Rose
Yeah.
that really, because Rose is brilliant in that movie. Just play the clip of her throwing the gun
Yeah.
on like a loop for the rest of the episode.
It'll be more entertaining.
No, I did laugh at although even the musical number, I was like, oh, so this is just obligatory now. We have to have a weird musical number in a comedy. And it only worked, well, for starters, I don't know why they were in like 80s clothes.
Oh yeah,
And then that's when I realized the arms were real. Is
yeah,
because
they
the
go all
sleeves
way up
were
to his shoulders.
they were just shoulder blades. But then it was the special effects within the dancing.
Yeah.
Like he literally throws her like a boomerang at one point, and she goes, "Woo, woo, 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 woo." That stuff was
Yeah.
funny. Like that kind of like thing.
Well, that's
stuff.
where like okay, I'm gonna compare this to Barb and Star because that was like those are the kind of moments that like Barb and Star is like wall to wall moments, like the like and this is just like that was the only moment like that, and then to cut from that until later where she's like seductively rubbing butter on his claw and then shaking Old Bay on him. What are you doing in a sexy way?
It was funny, but in a way that was shocking because
Yeah.
the rest of the movie was so lame that when she uttered without irony, I'm just buttering your knuckle,
Ugh.
and then does a full Lucille. I was like,
No.
oof.
It's a no for me. That was.
But no, it was funny.
It was funny, but it was so ridiculous.
And then, the eating the raw chicken, I was nauseated.
Ugh.
Like, my stomach
Yeah.
churned. And the second time, because they do it several times throughout the movie,
Looks like it's just us. My little raw friend.
Oh my god, we can still see you.
Ew.
Yeah.
the second time, I had just a minute, like 60 full seconds ago, finished eating a bowl of Kraft macaroni and cheese, sponsored.
I wish it was fucking sponsored.
So I could feel warm pasta hitting the lining of my stomach while they're slurping raw chicken, which you did find out.
It was sliced pear, blessedly, but apparently even on set, it was too realistic and everybody was like heaving every time they had to do it, even Melissa.
And then, like, at one point, Bobby cracks his claws off.
Yeah, yeah.
Hands off.
Jerry.
No problem.
It was so weird. It was so weird and so gross.
That's the kind of stuff where I'm just like, you went so far some of the time, and the rest of the time it was like the gentlest comedy you can imagine, and I don't really understand how those two were supposed to merge, because it didn't work.
Absolute abysmal waste of Melissa Leo.
Yeah.
A waste of Melissa Ponzio, if I'm being completely honest. That gave me such a... She plays Melissa McCall on Teen Wolf, and that gave me such... such like this weird, because I didn't even see her at first. I just heard her voice and I was like, because it's been like 3 years since I've had Mama McCall on my screen. But also the movie waits till it's like the third act to even introduce her as the mayor. And then she's meant to have this like lofty scene at the end where it's supposed to have emotional weight. And it's like, huh?
It doesn't.
Octavia Spencer's daughter was sweet. The actress seemed like she was giving it
Yeah, she was cute, and
what it needed.
She was doing what she needed, but it was
she
also,
looked beautiful in her white super speed.
Yeah, but like again, it's sort of like, for what? Like, what's the point of her being good?
This is the kind of thing that if you mention the movie and I remember it, I was gonna say if a year from now you mention this movie and I even remember it, if you were like, that's the daughter from Thunder Force, I'd be like, there was a daughter in Thunder Force? Like, what?
Well, she was this weird like hinge point on Emily
I kept
and
waiting
Lydia's
for-
relationship.
I kept waiting for Bobby Cannavale to weirdly be her father. They set up the father and then
Yeah, and then nothing. It was, there were a lot of like plot holes, a lot of loose threads. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I wanted to like it too.
You did. You up to and including the beginning of filming, you were like,
Yeah.
it wasn't that bad. Like I said, this isn't really our brand, and I mean, I think it's because we like all of these people so much, and we're so on record with them in other places that I don't feel as bad. Like if this was a first time outing, I would just rather not speak about it. Like I wouldn't like meet somebody with this information.
Right.
But I think it's because I know every one of these people is phenomenal, and we have already praised them in other things that I'm like they can handle.
I mean, for crying out loud, like 90% of the main cast has either won or been nominated for an Oscar. I'm sort of like, where is the disconnect here?
Or a Teen Choice Award.
Well, that's fine. We love Melissa Ponzio. I'm just saying it's a little bizarre because they're also both pretty good at comedy. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that I think is really a bummer to me is it's like,
maybe they thought this was a drama.
oh
Like
God.
maybe he was directing it just as a straight drama. I don't know. I guess I'm done.
This will be a real easy episode for Will to edit for Tuesday.
I'm trying to think if there's other stuff. We're covering Made for Love,
Yes.
the HBO Max show. We're more than halfway through Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yep. We're doing RuPaul's Drag Race. We've got 2 more of that
Yeah.
on Friday nights.
Um,
We're gonna maybe pick up something in the summer, but we're also taking May off. So
Tandy Newton has reclaimed her original name.
Yeah.
I think it's Tandway.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Because I pronounced it Tandwi, but then I found I couldn't find them saying it.
Someone saying.
But I found a song, and it's Tandway because apparently it's Zulu.
Yeah, I love it.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
Flawless.
Let's just
This episode.
Let's do that. Let's go watch that and come back. Thunder Force is on Netflix. If you feel like it, you can watch Thunder Force on Netflix. You know, your mileage may vary. You might like it. It's not for me to judge. I didn't love it. So, yeah, you can follow us on Twitter.
We got there at 11 minutes.
You can follow us on Twitter at So I'm Watching or Instagram at So I'm Watching the show. We also have a website, soimwatching.com, which links out to everything, including the YouTube and the book that we wrote called Fairy Tale. Please purchase and enjoy. And then just rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or YouTube or wherever you listen. That's it for us. Bye.
Let me at least feed you, huh? Thank you. Come on. Knock, knock. That's a good girl. Right down the hatch.
Oh, God. Make room for more.
Oh, my turn?
Or our turn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah?